Hey guys, so here's part two of the video for today, and then I'll probably let you go for a little bit. But there's a few things very important on this part that I'd like to share that I'm proud of, very proud of. And but I do have to tell you one thing, finishing up the earliest part. So last night, while we were sitting out on the deck, I had a laugh because we were talking about the journey and my mountain trip and all of that. And it was Chris and Carly that broke the news to me that today I'd be facing two mountains to cross the threshold. But what was funny is at one point Chris had sat there and when we were talking said, well, we're talking about the mountain and people driving on by and how it's dead to rights and ready to pass out, excuse me. And Chris said, well, Jim, I got to tell you something. He said, I'm one of those guys that blew by you probably at about 80 miles an hour going up that mountain because I saw you drove right by us, and when I saw you walk into that restaurant, I kind of felt a little bit guilty. And then right after that, Casey lives out in a town called St. Thomas. That is where I was walking through earlier in the day. That's between Chambersburg and here. And Casey's like, yeah, I saw you walking along there back in St. Thomas when I came out this way. So it was kind of funny how, people see me on the journey walking, and then they kind of, run into me later on. And again, that just begs the question of, is it, kismet, karma, God working, how, what is it? And it's a pretty fascinating thing. But I had to get a good chuckle when Chris said, yeah, I was one of those guys that just kind of blew by you about 80 miles an hour on that mountain. But anyway, so the other thing I want to talk about today, which was a perfect ending for me to a perfect day, and I'm going to apologize to somebody because people are notifying me through Facebook and email, and I'm not sure how many different ways, and sometimes they have service and sometimes I can respond, and I go back to find the info, and I know when it's on Facebook I can't seem to find it. Anyway, so last night it was probably about 10 o'clock. I was pretty wiped out, and said goodnight to everybody, and I headed up to the bedroom, and I reached out to a few folks to say goodnight, that my kids and things, make sure everybody knew I was safe. People would ask me, okay tonight? Yes, I'm fine. And I swear to you, the strangest, for me, greatest gift I could be given on this journey occurred twice within an hour. And I'm not going to do the retelling any justice, and I'm going to try really hard not to get emotional, but I do. That's who I am, guys. I'm emotional. So I got an email, and this first one I tried to locate this morning because I want this website to become something that's special. I want this. I want us to share. I want it to become not about me, but I forgot the word I'm looking for. But I want folks to kind of come together and use it as a platform for everybody. So I got an email from somebody that basically said, hey Jim, I just want to share a story with you. And today I was at the airport and I was going through security, and some older woman started a conversation asking me about my backpack. And they said, I saw your midday talk about people showing indifference and things like that. And I got to be honest, the old me would have simply just answered the question like, hey, it's a nice backpack, said thank you, brushed right by her and moved on. But I asked myself, why not engage this person? So I started to answer her questions about the backpack. And what it turns out is she was a grandmother, or she's taking a trip, and she was just really interested in finding the right backpack for her and the grandkids and things like that. And he said, this woman shared so much of herself, and the smile on her face made this person feel so much better. And they wanted to say, Jim, without your video I wouldn't have done that. And that's what I'm hoping happens on this journey. I'm hoping to touch people. I'm no savior, I'm no anything, I'm just a normal guy. But if I can get people to think just for a second, if I can affect one person at a time, and they can affect one person at a time, who knows what this becomes. So to that person who sent me that contact, if you could send it to me again, and maybe to my email at pttjourney2018@gmail.com, or maybe it's on the contact page of my website. I got to check there too. Anyway, I'd like to get that, and what I've asked my IT guy, who's been so helpful, is I'd like to get a page on my website that kind of is a place to share these stories, because these stories, I know how much it meant to me and uplifted me, but these are for you guys. This trip and journey isn't about anything I'm doing. This is about us, and we can do this one by one, put one bucket at a time on the fire. And so if I could try to locate that story, Toby, Adam, who helps me out and has access to my websites, if you can locate that story in one of my things, Toby, I'm hoping maybe we can get a little page on the website kind of called testimonials or stories to share, something, anything. But this is the kind of thing that I think it literally had made me feel special. And in no way am I trying to take credit for this. So to the person that sent me that, this was all you. You did that. If I could help you get there, that's great. But how wonderful was it to make this woman's day simply by listening for a few minutes? And that's the indifference that I hope to change. That's the kind of dialogue and feedback that I hope to have with all my followers. You know, ask people questions. Ask yourself that question. Point the thumb. And then I kid you not, within an hour of that email comes a second email. And this one happens to be a family friend and who's been following me. And he sent me the nicest email and said, "Hey, Jim, just so you know, me and the whole family are watching your videos and really enjoying it." He said, "I want to tell you about a situation today. I just took a job in Queens, New York, and a friend of mine and I were out having lunch." Big truck, little car. Big truck, little car. Okay, I can talk now. But he said, more little cars. Anyway, so he said we're having lunch, and some guy came up to me and asked me if we could buy him lunch. And my initial reaction would have been, you know, kind of to blow him off or say no and just move on, not to be bothered. But I saw your midday video, and I challenged myself and asked the question, why wouldn't I buy him lunch? Point the thumb at myself. Why wouldn't I buy this guy lunch? Right? It's not about the money. It's not about saving money. It's not about anything like that. As it turns out, he told me that he, you know, he bought this gentleman lunch, and he just felt so super about it. And you know, again, I'm not doing justice to the story, but he wanted to give me credit to some degree for saying without my video, he wouldn't have behaved like that. So while I'm grateful that he did what he did, I didn't do it, he did it. And the feeling that he got of giving to somebody is a feeling you can't replace it. You just can't. And you know, even the most ugly of people, I think, enjoys giving gifts at Christmas time or holiday time or birthdays or whatever. It just makes you feel good. And to think that such a small gesture, $5, $6 for lunch, not only made this gentleman's day, but it made Stephen's day as well for doing it. And so, man, I love you guys for that. I'm not taking any credit. You guys did it all. But this is the stuff that I'm so proud of, that if on my journey, if I can impact one person, 2 people, 3 people, maybe you guys spread that word and you take that point the thumb mantra home with you or to your school or to your church or whatever. You know, it's really what I hope to gain from this trip. This trip isn't about me climbing Mount Everest or walking across the country. It's got nothing to do with that. This trip is humanity. This trip is about people. You know, whether I walk every step of the way or someone gives me a ride a mile or 2 or you know, whether I don't walk on a Thursday because my feet are hurting, that's not the story. Okay, that's not what I care about. If somebody wants to detract from me for that, feel free. I don't really care. It's about these stories. And you know, we're only on day 3, and those 2 lifted me so high that I can only imagine if we all kind of go ahead and share these things with our friends and family. You know, who knows if we can have a volume of positivity and stories to share and good feelings. And you know, by the time I finish this journey on the other side of the country, what an amazing, amazing thing. So guys, please continue to share things like that if you do, you know, in fact do them. If you do them, you know, more power to you. Just try it. It's amazing when you give to somebody. I think I've shared the story with my kids. Every Christmas I take them up to them and their mom to a Broadway play in Manhattan for Christmas. But the only way we'll go is if they pack, you know, 5 bag lunches to give to the homeless people. And it's become, in just a couple of years, the trip isn't about the play or seeing the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. The kids really enjoy most more than anything is giving these gifts to the homeless folks and watching their faces. Some just grab it and say thank you. Some will engage you in conversation. But just showing a little bit of humanity, a little less indifference, just a little bit at a time, piece by piece, we can change things just even slightly. So I love you guys for that. Thank you for sharing those stories. Please keep them coming. As I said, I hope to talk to Toby later today, who's just a genius, and I couldn't thank him, ever repay him enough for what he's done for me. But I'm hoping we can get some little blog up on my website that highlights these stories, because I want us to share them. I want us to take these stories and learn and grow from them. So those were the few things about yesterday that got me really excited. I met some great people. I met Ike, and Chris and his family. I made it over a mountain I didn't think I could make because I looked at some strength from people that were supportive. I accomplished something that I didn't think I'd ever be able to accomplish because there was a lot of quitting me on that mountain, quite honestly, at different times. And then here we are today. So we got another day ahead of us. Who knows what's gonna be in store for me. I'm gonna do the best I can with everything. But guys, please keep the stories coming. I appreciate your support. Some people donate to the GoFundMe page. I want that to take off. I want to be able to donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital and the Disabled Veterans of America. I've already got some people texting me this morning just saying, hey, have a great day and be safe out there. So guys, thanks for listening. I sincerely, I couldn't thank you enough. Got another day ahead of me. All right, gang, have a great day. Love you guys.